Yeah, what a game it was. Well, it was, wasn't it, Steve? Did you see it?
Absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit biased, of course, because you knew how I wanted to win, but just the manner of it, and Fernandes playing centre half and Anthony playing left back, and I was looking to try and see what sort of formation, because in management I look at managers, especially the good ones and the really great ones, of what substitution they're going to wear and how they're going to change things, and I'm intrigued by that sort of. And when these guys were towards the end, thinking Fernandes playing centre back and Anthony playing left back, and who's playing in midfield, it was chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos and bedlam. There was no structure to it at all, but it gave great entertainment, what probably only a cup tie can give.
Yeah. So if you want to take it, I'm a little bit pessimistic. The concerns, as you're watching as a manager, of how easy United are being taken apart in central midfield positions, because that was an issue that you somehow found a way.
Well, Cass, I think it's like a lot of clubs as well, and I think Man U is part of that one too as well. They've suffered a lot through injuries, especially defensively. Defensively, I mean, Shaw hasn't really played all year. Harry's had a lot of problems. Varane's had a lot of problems. Lindelof's had a lot of problems. So, in that respect, and the boy Martinez, who was arguably their best defender last year, has been missing. So, I think they've been racked with injury. And of course, Casemiro wasn't there at all, and he had a wonderful season last year. Everybody's waxing lyrical about him. All of a sudden, he's taken out. So, even a big club like Man U take away their best players, and all of a sudden they're still a little bit vulnerable.
Did you dream about having the Manchester United manager's job?
Oh, anybody, any manager, whatever. It's got to be the pinnacle, hasn't it? It's a wonderful, great football club, but I don't think that's going to happen, Jeff.
No. I think
unfortunately.
What a great story it is, though, now, isn't it, that they've got Coventry in the semi-final and Mark Robbins.
Well, everybody says, is it the catalyst for the Taneg area? Let's really, really hope so, because the start of Fergie time was Mark scoring that goal. You know, I remember the late great Jimmy Hill saying that we were beaten in the warm up because we're in such a bad run and poor form, and Mark comes up with a goal that beats Forest. And when you need a little bit of luck, at that time we never played against a Premier League team to get there. We were never at home, but we never got drawn against anybody at all who was in our league. So that little bit of luck is just what you need. And the FA Cup, that goal from Mark Robbins, started the Ferguson era, if you like.
Yeah. What age were you, Steve? I was thinking before we come on about when you joined Manchester United.
I was 27 when I went to Manchester, and we didn't start really until we didn't win anything until I was 31. So the best years of my career really was from 31 to 36.
Wow. So you were 36. There really from the start of Fergie?
Well, I was Sir Alex's third signing. Viv Anderson and Brian McClare were his first, and he bought me in the December of 1987.
It's not bad judgment, is it? Straight away, you, Viv Anderson, Brian McClare. It's a pretty good start.
Good start, and Viv, who had never been injured at all in his career, had an awful time through injury for a couple of years. Went to Sheffield Wednesday after that and played for 4 or 5 years on the spin. But for Man U, it never really took off for Viv, because he was another really special player.
And Fergie as a manager, because obviously you would have learnt a lot. We all learnt by who we worked under, and you obviously would be the same. But the manager changed, or did you think he was still the same Fergie at the very end? His same ideas?
No. The great thing about Sir Alex was the ability to change, because we all have to change. He didn't manage it towards the end that he did at the start.
Yeah. There was 10 air dryers.
He was ferocious in his desire to take Man U to where it should be, and topple Liverpool was the big thing what we had to do in the 90s. Every interview I ever do, everybody asks the same question of what was he like and how was he so special. He was unique, unbelievably hard working, demanding of you, really, really demanding of you, and really, if you couldn't go with his standards, then he knew that you really weren't good enough for Man U. So he tested you to the limit, and in a great way. And once you had his trust, then it was unbreakable. And the 94 team I had, I think, really, really epitomised Sir Alex and what he wanted. He had teams who epitomised him, really. When you have Keane and Robson and Ince and Hughes and Cantona and Schmeichel and Dennis Irwin and people like that.
What was that dressing room like then? Because
Well, he
there were
didn't-
so
sometimes-
many massive characters in there.
Jeff, sometimes he didn't really have to
Didn't
do
need
much.
to, no.
Didn't need to. We'd sort it out between ourselves, and there was fierce competitors in it, which really epitomised him. And if you needed to go to have a fight, then that team could fight. But if you really wanted to play football and say, "Come on, then take us on a football," they could play a bit and all. And it was dismantled very, very quickly. But the '94 team, I believe, was a great team. Great team.
Did anyone rule the roost in that dressing room? Was it Keano or?
Well, Keane was young. Brian Robson, of course, had been there and was the elder statesman, of course. And then Schmeichel would always have something to say about it, and I would chip up a little bit. And then Mark Hughes, who was really the quiet one, but if he ever had to say anything, then we'd stop and listen. And of course, Incy was, of course, the governor, so he thought he was the top man. But just wonderful individuals and great players to go with it.
Jeff, that great '94 team.
Yeah.
I was at Chelsea that year. We beat them home and away in the league.
Did you?
Yeah, we lost the cup final 4-0 though. They got revenge.
Wow.
You remember
It didn't lose many of that '94. I can't remember that cast. We lost a double to you.
Yeah,
Really?
we won 1-0 at the Bridge and 1-0 at Old Trafford.
Oh, really?
Did you score them both?
No, I played in the first one, didn't play in the second one, but the final, there was redemption time there because United were fantastic in the final.
Yeah. It was close for it. It was close for an hour. Wasn't it?
First
Really?
half it was close. Yeah, Gavin Peacock, I think, hit the bar. Yeah.
I just want to ask you a question about Hull because it's an interesting one. How did you manage to get Andy Robertson from Dundee United to Hull?
Well, back in the day, I had a wonderful chief scout in Stan Tennant.
Yes.
And Stan the
A
man.
bit of a character.
Stan,
a bit of a character.
I was at Chelsea with Stan.
And you know, I put a. When I went into Hull, we didn't have any scouting network at all, and now, of course, it's all done by computers and all the rest of it. But I remember Stan being in charge, and we had Frank Barlow, and we had John Rudge all worked for me. Because they were probably like me now, out of work managers, but delighted to go to a game. And I had Stan as the chief scout. So he comes back from Dundee. He says, I've seen a player. I said, who? He said, Andy Robertson. He said, I'm going to go back on Saturday to watch him again, but he's Billy Whiz. I said, Billy Whiz? Who's Billy Whiz? So he said, the old comic book. He flies down the left-hand side, and he's young and bright and quick and enthusiastic. So we went and bought him. And at Hull at the time, we targeted the young British players if we could. We got Clucas and of course Harry Maguire as well. So all down to Stan really that. He went up and seen him at Dundee and come back and give him a raging report. And up I went to go and watch him. And next thing you know, he's signing for us.
Yeah, amazing.
He was like a little boy at the time. I remember him walking hand in hand with his mum on the training ground. And I thought I was signing a 15-year-old, never mind a 19-year-old.
Oh, he's grown up since.
Oh, he certainly has.
Andy Robertson and
fullback.
Harry Maguire, not too shabby.
Yeah.
By the way, Liam Rosenior's doing a great job there,
It's
isn't
a great
he?
job. I'm so pleased that they're picking up a bit.
Yeah. It is 9:15. We talked about Manchester United. Just a reminder, United's next game, the trip to Brentford, is on March the 30th. Little break for them. It's live and exclusive on talkSPORT. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. We'll talk more with Steve when we come back in a couple of minutes.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.